Hey there. Welcome to Learned by Doing, a podcast by me, Megan Smila Burke. You can find this pod on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Substack. I've done a lot, I've learned a lot, and this is a space to share lessons picked up along the way. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Learned by Doing. Today I'm sharing 5 mistakes I made during the past 5 years, which just so happened to be my first 5 years self-employed. And let's dive right in. So one is I was too good. I automated my way out of work. Basically, for context, I supposedly was early to the game of automation. I'm a Zapier fiend. Zapier makes you happier. Zapier definitely makes me happier. And I had automated so much of my back end, particularly in regards to client delivery. I sold a lot of workshops, just created an online learning space. I still have one. And I'm great at it. So like automating calendar invites, someone signs up to a program, they automatically get a welcome email. People pay me to build out their financial reporting for their businesses. And I have a Zapier automation that pulls, one woman is a beauty entrepreneur. So I pull all of her transactions from Vagaro using Zapier into a Google spreadsheet that I designed like 4 years ago. And that way she always knows which products are selling best, how much money she's made. And this allows her to factor in tipping and have like a gauge of how much money she's making each year, since it can be kind of tough with salon and beauty businesses. And so, yeah, I'm great at it. I've made a lot of money doing it, but I was a bit too good because people were hiring me to automate pieces of their businesses. But what that meant was you didn't need me anymore. And so luckily I charged well, but in a different reality. Well, I'll save my solutions for next time. But basically just know that I automated for them rather than having them hire me for certain things and me automate those things on my end. Number 2, I committed to projects instead of long-term commitments. Now, human design, because that is a factor into all of this, it's something that helps me see all these lessons. And I've learned that, yes, I do well with projects because there's an end in sight. Projects, though, mean that you're constantly looking for new clients, or at least for me, that's what it meant. And like, you need to have a strong pipeline of clients waiting to work with you, right? And I didn't factor that into these past 5 years. And so, yeah, these projects paid well, but when they're done, then what? And that led me to be more reactive instead of proactive about my offers, my income. And so now, well, again, let me just give you the flip side because I can't wait for later. Now I'm being mindful to have a balance of both. So I can still take on projects, but create an ongoing income stream that covers my baseline of finances. So that way I'm able to take on projects that I want to take on rather than have to take on. The third thing is I was led by people's interpretation of my skills instead of what I enjoyed. And if I don't enjoy it, I can't maintain it. And I'm also an internally motivated person. So this by far was a key piece of burnout for me. I cannot be motivated. It's impossible for me to be motivated by what other people want and other people's desires. I'm self-centered. Again, I'm internally motivated. I don't need an accountability partner. Accountability partners actually don't work for me. I think they slow me down because I got this on my own. And so, yeah, now I focus on my skill set and which pieces of those skills I enjoy, and then create offers around that rather than being led by other people's desires or what they want from my skills, or rather what they perceive of my skills. The fourth is I made access to me way too inexpensive and honestly kind of free, especially with Instagram. Now, Instagram stories were key for me building my business. It changed my life. I built a personal brand. I built a community around my mind and my global explorations. And that was wonderful. But at some point, that meant that access to my inner thinking became free. And I'm a thinker. And because I'm a thinker, a strategist, I'm someone who people pay me to hear my thoughts on things. This lowered the cost of work. the cost of my work. This lowered what I could charge because people already feel like they can just open their phones and have access to Megan's mind. So why pay thousands on thousands of dollars for it if you can see it while you're laying in bed, right? If you can hear how I think about things and my perspective while you're laying in bed. And so I'm in the midst of an Instagram break for that exact reason. It's time to, make expensive to me, make access to me and my mind more expensive. And lastly is I said yes to everyone and I didn't say no enough. That made it harder for people to say yes to me because I wasn't speaking to a specific person. This is something I was mindful to really address last year. But I was in the beginning, it was that I didn't want to turn anyone off. I didn't want to offend anyone with my thoughts. Now I lean toward being offensive just because it's like a mild course correction that sometimes can come off abrasive. But I need to be sure that I'm curating a community, not just off of aesthetics or vibes, but rather, again, I'm a thinker. My perspective is the product, and I need to be aligned with people who share that perspective, because otherwise then also it's a one-way street. And that's another reason why I stepped back from Instagram, is I wasn't getting enough back. I offer up so much, and through all these different mediums, right, through newsletters, TikTok, whatever, I'm always offering up so much perspective, but then I'm not fed and nurtured on the other side. But also because I wasn't turning anyone off, I wasn't able to call my people in. And that is huge. It's something I learned in business. That's just so huge, is you have to be able to say no so that your people can say yes. And that's it. Those are 5 mistakes that I made in my business as a self-employed baddie in the past 5 years. I'm Megan Smila-Burke, a writer, teacher, and researcher. Until the next episode of Learned by Doing, come play in my world at meganburke.com. That's MEGANBURKE.com. See you soon.